Sick. All right, man. Well, yeah, thanks for suggesting for yourself to come on the podcast.
Yeah, sure thing. I appreciate you having me. Like, I love your podcast, love your music, and the stuff you're making on your website and stuff. So yeah, pleasure's all mine.
Sick. Yeah, normally when someone asks me to come on the podcast, I'm like, maybe, but probably not. But like you mentioned to me, well, for starters, you've released music on my label, Belegal Beats, so I already know you. But on top of that, you were like, yeah, I'm a private investigator, and I think that'd be interesting to talk about. And I was like, yeah, that probably would be interesting to talk about. So yeah, tell me more about that. Like, what does your job entail as a private investigator?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, I do a lot of like workers' comp cases. So a lot of like fraud. I've been doing it for almost 5 years now for like a company called PhotoFax. And yeah, mostly my job is just to like film people do their daily activities, like pretty common thing I get is just like a setup is called, and it'll have like the person's name, date of birth, address, sometimes a photo of them, sometimes not, and then yeah, from there, it'll also have like their injury too. A lot of the times, like if it's a back injury, and then it'll have like certain restrictions, like oh, can't like push or pull over 10 pounds. And these cases will like the settlement sometimes will be like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like meanwhile the person's not actually as injured as they claim to be, or might not even be injured at all. So they'll send someone like me out just to like get film of them. You know what I mean? To like prove that they're not injured.
I think your mic might be clipping a tiny bit. You might want to turn the gain down on it just a little.
Okay, yeah, sure. Is that better?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
too
that's
loud?
better. No,
Okay,
I think
cool.
that's fine. So wait, so is this legal to just go and like film somebody doing this stuff, or is it something within the law that says like once you subject yourself to a court case that earns you hundreds of thousands of dollars for being injured or something, that then you are subjected to being filmed?
Yeah, so it's legal. Like
Like
I'm
just
doing it.
legal, like I could just go film people.
Yeah, I believe you could in like a public space. Like if you're a photographer, you're allowed to take pictures of people. But there's certain like limits to it. Like if someone's like, you can see them through their window, like that's not legal. I can't film that. Like it has to be like they have to like step out of their doorway. But yeah, so yeah, it's a illegal thing to do. I do like get the cops called on me, and like it's obviously pretty suspicious. Like to the cops at first, if they don't know what I'm doing, they're like, "Oh, like are you following this person around?" Like kind of gets like, it's illegal to like stalk someone, right? Like you can't just like follow someone for no purpose. You know what I mean? Because that's just considered stalking. But if it's for my like work, then it's allowed.
Huh. So what are the conversations like when you talk to police? You just explain to them what you're doing and they just leave you alone, or?
Yeah, usually they're pretty chill about it. Like you're supposed to like call and check in. Like when I get to a case, like I'm supposed to like call the local police and be like, "Hey, I'm working like a case. Like I'm parked right here in this van with this model make, license plate number." So they like know ahead of time. But to be honest, I don't do that like every time because most of the time like it's kind of inconspicuous. Like no one like calls the police on me if I'm doing a good job usually. So, but when the cops do get called, it's usually pretty chill. Except there was one time where I was like following a high school football coach, and like he went to a high school, like, to like coach football. And I was like filming him like in the parking lot at this like high school. And like one of the parents like saw my camera through the van and called the cops on me. And like that cop was like very not chill at first because he thought I was like, some fucking creepy guy or
Like
something.
a pedo or something?
Yeah, exactly. So they like pulled me out of the van, like put me in the back of the cop car, and like he's like searching the van, and I'm talking to the other cop, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm a private investigator, like, and like one of the cops had like applied to PhotoFax. The guy I was talking to, he was like knew the company. He's like, oh, and like he started being chill to me then, but yeah, at first he was just like, this doesn't look good, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I know you can look at the film. I'm just filming the football coach, like, yeah.
Huh. So what kind of camera do you use is it just your phone, or do you use like an actual specific camera to do it, or?
Yeah, I have it right here actually. I have two cameras. I have this one, just like it's pretty basic, like it's like a Panasonic. I have a tripod too, like I keep in the van. But yeah, this is also a covert camera. So
Uh, huh.
yeah, there's a
Interesting.
lens right there.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah,
what, you
this is
just
for
leave that on your dash or something like that?
this is for like when they go like shopping, they go into stores. I just like go in with them and I put this on the shopping cart, and it connects to like an app on my phone, so I can like see what it's filming.
And you just kind of like follow them around with the shopping cart or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So sus.
It's sus. In my mind, I'm just like, oh, I'm just shopping. Like you try, like I use like my peripherals. Like the way to not be sus is to like just don't act sus. If it sounds kind of weird
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say, but
That
yeah, you have
makes
to like,
sense. Yeah, I feel like sus is like it's a state of mind.
yeah, it definitely is. Like, and sometimes like when I'm looking for someone in a store, like they're in a Walmart or they're like at a swap meet somewhere, it's a ton of people. I definitely feel sus because I look around and like everyone's doing something. Like they're all looking at their phones. They're all looking like to shop, and I'm like the one person that's like looking at all the people. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I definitely feel more sus in those kind of situations.
Yeah, it makes sense. And how'd you get this job? Like, what made you want to apply to it in the first place, and what gave you the idea to apply for it and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I studied like criminal justice. I got like a degree. That was what I studied in college, and I didn't want to like go be a cop. Like I originally did. Like I wanted to go do like ATF, and then I went to like Europe and went to the club. I think it's Moog, and just like it was like a techno. Like they were playing techno, and I just got like obsessed with electronic music. And I was like, oh fuck, being a cop. Like, and then I just wanted to go to the private sector. Yeah, and like I just found this job on like some job board and applied. It's like my first job out of college.
Yeah, I feel like the electronic music scene is kind of the antithesis to criminal justice.
It
It's
is.
like it's the exact opposite of, not the exact opposite, I mean like it's not violent and stuff, but it's like doing all of the things that a human, in my opinion, should have the right to do. And most of it in, like, on the surface it's legal, but like when you get right into the scene it's mostly not legal. There's a lot of drug use, there's a lot of uh, underhanded cash, there's a lot of people coming into the country playing shows without visas, like all sorts of shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, a lot of those stuffs like shouldn't even be crimes in my opinion. So I
uh,
definitely
some of them I understand, like, I mean, I understand uh, like people not wanting immigrants to come in and take Americans' jobs. But I mean, if you're like a DJ and you're coming in to play a show and you have your fans here and all of that kind of stuff, that's a little different. I think just because it's like you're not really taking an American DJ's job at that point if you're the one who's like bringing the people to come see you anyway. It's like I don't feel like anyone like new coming into the electronic music scene is taking anything away from anybody else. I think the more that you invest into the electronic music scene, the more interest you create around it, hopefully. And then the more people that just get into electronic music as a whole, and it's good for everyone inside electronic music. It's like the only reason I have a job or anyone has a job in electronic music right now is just because there's a shitload of people who have gotten into it and it's built the scene up big enough to the point where like now 100,000 DJs can have a job doing this full time.
yeah. No, that's definitely true. It's like that. It's like the statement like rising tide raises all ships. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And like yeah, that's another thing. You're very open with like teaching. You know what I mean? I think that's like something that is more common now because of that mindset, right? Where it's like, oh, like might as well teach people. Like more people doing it is good for us. Like raises the bar of like the quality of the music that's released and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm definitely grateful to be like around in this time of electronic music where it's like, yeah, I was able to like learn from people that were like really good already.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was more the other way around. It was that mindset which made electronic music get really big because, like, before that, electronic music was not very big, and I don't think it had anything to do with the amount of people. Like, there was still a shitload of people on the planet, and it had nothing to do with the music. The electronic music was there, and it was already good. I think what happened was at some point there was this shift where like a lot of it sort of just like open sourced itself, especially through YouTube, where people were just like putting information on there. The software became easily obtainable through like illegal torrent sites for people who had no money. The companies were giving away free trials to everything anyway. So like the barrier to entry just got like lifted basically, and then all of a sudden you got these people, like everyone's got a computer these days thanks to like just, I don't know, technology in general, I suppose, but like the need for it almost now with social media and how everything is just online. So now you got like everyone who has these devices. It's basically like everyone owns a guitar, and then all of a sudden you have all of the information to make this device do whatever you want. So it's like all of a sudden you can get into anything you want. You can get into programming, you can get into making music, you can get into whatever. And yeah, I think just a combination of those things, coupled with the fact that a bunch of people around the like mid 2000s, late 2000s were just like, late 2010s were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's just like put all the information online. And now all of a sudden you've got this like bustling industry 10 years later.
Yeah, totally. Like, I definitely agree with that. I feel like maybe like the live aspect of it too, like the shows probably improved around that time, or like at least that's what it took for me to like get into it. Like, because I had heard Skrillex, and now like when I heard like Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites or Spirits or whatever, I was like, oh, this is like interesting, but it didn't become like an obsession like when I experienced it live. Because like when I first experienced it live was when it like really like I was like, oh, I have to figure out how to do this, you know. So I don't know if other people had that same. I still kind of hold that belief that like the context is super important. Like it like live helps a lot, and then also like the energy of the people there, you know what I mean, matters a lot. Like if people are like in a good mood and they're dancing and stuff, it kind of like makes the music almost like be perceived as better, you know what I mean, versus like if like people are more just like chilling and you're just like, I don't know. It's kind of some random thoughts I had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so if you just remove the music from that completely and you're just standing in a room full of people, and one of those rooms full of people that you're standing in, there's no speakers, there's no music, nothing. One of those rooms you're in, the lights are turned on, everyone's just sort of standing around like looking at their phone or like maybe talking quietly amongst themselves. That's one situation. And then another situation, still no music, the lights are turned off and everyone's running around fucking being insane and like, you know, having a great time and yelling and like jumping around. Like that, just those two situations without even any music involved is completely different. One of them is much more exciting than the other, obviously. One of them is like very sterile and feels like you can't sort of jump around and be crazy and do whatever the fuck because like everyone else is being quiet and everyone else is like talking amongst themselves and there's light on, so like your insecurities are there and stuff. And the other one is like dark, so your insecurities are like lowered. Plus everyone's doing crazy shit anyway, so you can feel like you can also do crazy shit. And then when you add music into that experience, obviously it like adds a whole other dimension there as well.
Yeah, totally. That sums up my view on like partying kind of, because like in college at like college parties I always felt like super uncomfortable. Like I just feel like, I don't know, like I'm kind of more introverted person, and like if everyone's kind of just like super normal, like just chatting, like people are like drinking and like being a little rowdy, but like you're not seeing like a dude in like a manatee outfit like dancing to like some like crazy techno or something like that. Like, and then when I went and like experienced electronic music, it was just like so much weird shit and so much like freeness that it like kind of made me feel more comfortable, you know what I mean? I feel like that kind of like added to the whole experience of it and like the whole like magic of it, you know.
Yeah, it definitely does. Let's go back to private investigating. I'm curious, like, what your main strats are, like, other than sitting in a van. Like, I assume you just park your van outside someone's house, and then, like, do you have your camera, like, just looking out of your, like, front windscreen or your driver's windscreen, or are you sort of, like, sitting in the back of the van? You have, like, a peephole or something?
Yeah, so like the van, it's like a Dodge Grand Caravan. It has like no seats in the back, so it's just all like empty floor space. And I have like an inverter back there, so I have like my camera on a tripod connected to like a monitor, so I can like usually you want to look at the door, because if you like look at the like if you're just like put your camera on the person's car, like they could, you know, leave and go in like an Uber or whatever, like some other way. And how you like arrive at the residence and how you position is like some of the most important things that you can like do for like the success of the case. Like if you're like super sus on arrival, you know, like pull your car into their driveway at like 5:30 in the morning with the headlights on to like get their license plates, like yeah, someone's gonna fucking call the cops on you. Like you're just being sus. So like how you arrive is like pretty important, and like where you position. And like the better the investigator, probably like the more clever the position they'll choose. You know, you don't want to like be somewhere where they're just gonna like walk out their front door and then just like your van's like right there. You know, you want to be like kind of like blending in as far away as you can with still like visibility on the door. Generally, sometimes you can't get that like rural cases. You know, like sometimes all you can do is watch like the route of departure, and
Yeah, right. If like there's nothing like on this giant property, like anything on that's gonna look sus.
yeah, those cases are the worst, honestly. I much prefer working in like a city where you just blend in and like you can tail people, like be right behind them in traffic and it's not like odd. But yeah, the more rural it is, like, yeah, the more cautious you have to be and the farther away you want to position. But yeah, I guess some of like there's tons of different strategies. Like the cases are all different. So like one of the things that I do you might find interesting is like we don't always know that like the claimant lives there. We'll have like an address on file, but we like, you know, if we haven't seen him in a day and we're not like so sure about this address, like we have other addresses, we'll like knock on their door with like a pretext is what it is called. And like it's like a different story that we make up stories to like, you know, get information basically. And yeah, the one is like the most common that I do is like I just have a dog leash with me and I'll knock on the door and be like, "Oh, have you seen like a Labrador like poking around here? Like someone said my dog was like in your yard like earlier." You know, and like that one's okay cuz like we'll get like, you know, we'll find out if someone's like home, you know, but to really be sure, we have a like this fake package delivery one that like I hate doing it because it's so sketch. Like I have like this this uniform that I put on, and I basically like deliver a package like, and I use their name, and I'm like, oh, is John Smith here? He needs to sign a package, and like they're like, what? I didn't order a package. I'm like, oh, like it's a marketing company. Like someone signed you up probably at a mall. Like we send like free like products, and in the package I'll have like. I'll look for like products that say like, you know, new flavor, new scent. Like it'll be like some like travel size shampoo that's like new fucking whatever, you know, and it'll be like, oh, we're just like testing this product. And in like a couple days, someone's going to like email you or call you and like ask you what you thought of the product. And like, it's pretty sketch. Like if you
But that's
Googled
also sus though, right? Like if someone came to deliver me a product in like a uniform, like a UPS uniform or a USPS uniform, and they're telling me that they know what's inside that package, I'd be like, why? How do you know what is it? Like, you shouldn't know what's inside that package.
Yeah, no, it's sus. This is why I hate doing this one. But it's not like a UPS uniform. It's like a fake marketing company. So I'm like claiming to like be part of the marketing company. But yeah, it's like I don't have a delivery vehicle. Like I'll park my vehicle like around the corner and I'll carry like other like packages with me so that it looks like I'm kind of doing it on foot. But yeah, it's that's the worst one. And my boss doesn't make me do that one like barely ever. Because if you like look up the company name, like it's one of the first things that pops up on like Reddit is like, oh, this is like a private investigator. Like it's some like, yeah, dude, some like disgruntled ex-employee like blew it up and like, yeah, just was like blew up the game. But yeah,
you could just like change.
I really don't like to do that. Right? I did that one time, and I had done like a walk by the day before at this house and like did this package delivery. The claimant didn't answer, but it was in like kind of a sketch neighborhood, and like one of his neighbors was kind of just like a sketch dude, and like he had seen me the day before like not in a delivery outfit, like poking around, like trying to like, you know, see if anyone's home, like getting the license plate numbers and shit. And like he like follows me back to my van like after I do this package delivery, and he's like, what are you doing here? Like I saw you here yesterday, like, you know, walking around, like why are you now like delivering something? I'm like, I was just like, I kind of froze and I just stuck to my story. I was like, I'm delivering a package, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't here yesterday. And like it just kind of kept like escalating, and I was like, dude, look, like if you want to call the cops, like go for it. But I'm like dipping. And like he like kicked my van as I was like pulling out. And like it was just a sketch situation. I called my boss and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm not going back to the street right now. Like this guy's, and I had to work this case later too. And the guy like came to my van, of course, because this dude just like chilled in his front yard like all day. And like he came into my van like a few days later when I worked it again, and like was trying to look inside it, and I had all the curtains closed and shit, and I'm like hiding, and he like is walking away, and I like open one curtain and I like peer out, and he turns back and I close the curtain and he like comes back again, and like I'm just like tripping out. I was like, yeah, he eventually left, but yeah, it was definitely one of the worst interactions with just some random neighbor. It's always like a neighbor that's like the worst.
Yeah, some people are like that, eh? They just like chill a lot, like outside. Like I got my next door neighbor actually is like that. He's just always working on his front lawn for whatever reason. I mean, like I feel like at some point, like I kind of get it. Like after buying a house last year, like I understand the lawn thing. You're like, yeah, I want my house to have a nice lawn so it looks good and has like the curbside appeal and shit. But like also, I'm torn with that because I'm like very much don't really give a shit to waste a shitload of water on just grass, which doesn't
Hmm.
do anything, you know. Like
Yeah.
I feel it, yeah. But anyway, so my neighbor does this shit all the time. I understand this. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like when you're working these cases, do you work them with your boss or are you just alone most of the time?
I'm alone, but I'm always like updating my boss. I'm supposed to update him like after 4 hours and at the end of the day. So yeah, it's kind of like a job where you have to like manage yourself, and like most of the decisions I make are just like by myself. Like they have to be made quickly, you know. Like if
Mm.
someone's suspicious, like to make the decision not to like follow them or something like that. But yeah, I'm like communicating with him. He's like a really experienced investigator. He did it for like 10 years before he became like a manager.
Mm.
So yeah,
And is the car that you use, like, is it your car or is it a company car?
it's a company car. Yeah, they provided all the equipment, like the training and stuff, which like is pretty sick because like other companies don't do that. So yeah, if anyone listening just happens to do criminal justice, study that, like I would definitely recommend applying to PhotoFax. It's been chill.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like you probably don't want to use your own car either because if somebody like that guy, you know, gets mega sus on you or whatever, and then eventually like gets some sort of vendetta and wants to come and find your car and stuff, then he'll end up at your house and not the company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If they like get a picture of the license plate, they could like pay to run it or whatever, and then yeah, I've had people follow me, like attempt to like get behind me and follow me, and I usually just start heading home. Like if they're gonna follow me like an hour on the freeway, like go for it. Like if they really did, like they usually just stop. They've never like actually followed me like that long. But
Mm.
yeah, I've heard like other sketch stories of people at my company. Like I guess one guy, like this one homie I have who works here, he like got made or whatever, like they figured out he was like, you know, following them, and like they got behind him, and at like every red light, like someone was getting out of the claimant's car, like trying to open like my coworker's door, which was like locked, like as he's like sitting in it, and he like drove to the police station because like I guess the dudes that the case he was working, like these people were kind of sketch too. But yeah, I've heard like another dude got like a gun pulled on him because they didn't know like that it's like a PI following him. He thought it was just some guy, you know.
So how many of these cases will you work a week generally? Like just one and you'll stay on the one for like a month, or is it like a new one every day or a new one every week, or what, how, like what's the frequency of the difference of cases?
It's usually like probably on average 2 a week. This week I'm doing like 3, and I'm doing like a drone deployment also. So it's like a busy week, but
Wait, what is a drone deployment?
it's just like a van or an SUV or a truck at has like a camera in it that's like controlled remotely, and we just park it like at their house, and yeah, we'll just film them over the course of like 3 days at their house and like document when they leave and go and if they do any yard work. But yeah, it has like 6 car batteries in the back, like powering the camera. And yeah, the camera's just operated
The
remotely.
camera's on a drone, like a flyable drone, you mean?
No, no, it's like a car. We just call it like a drone. It's like,
Oh, so you just park the car and you leave it there and you just leave.
yeah,
I see, I
exactly.
see.
And it's controlled at the office, like someone's monitoring it.
This shit seems like it should be so illegal. It's fucking wild that that's not illegal. Like the fact that someone could just park a car out the front of my house. Is it different state to state or is this just federal?
It's different state to state. Like I'm in California, so like
Which
yeah,
is
I think
honestly, like, in my opinion, probably one of the states that would have like the strictest laws on something like this, don't you think? Or
yeah, they do. Like you to get your like own PI card here, you have to do like 10,000 hours of PI work like for a company, which like I've done that now being here for like 4 years, you know. But in other states like Arizona, you just like pay a thing, you just pay a fee and you get your license. And like Nevada too, you just like pay a fee. Other states there's like a test that you have to take. Yeah, it differs state to state to answer your question. But yeah, California's pretty strict.
is it different from county to county also? It's just the state rule, basically. Like, would it be
Yeah, just
different in, say, like LA versus San Francisco or something?
no, it's just like by state.
Yeah, that's wild. It's crazy that it's just illegal to. So wait, which city are you closest to then?
I'm in like Antioch, so I'm in like the Bay Area. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's where I was living for a while during the pandemic as well. I was like right in SF. Yeah,
yeah,
that's wild that like just there it's legal to just park out front of someone's house and just keep tabs on them and shit.
yeah, it definitely is. Like,
So
but I
like
mean,
I'm assuming like in your time you've like caught a few people out who've been lying to get like compensation insurance or something like that. What has
yeah.
been like the biggest like thing that you've uncovered in your 4 years of doing this?
Biggest thing I've uncovered, mostly just fraud because it's like just workers' compensation, but like there's really clear examples of fraud sometimes. Like this one lady, she like was claiming like dizziness and like basically like being like very she was like claiming like super disabled, you know, but she lived on a boat and I ended up following her and shit, and like she went on a paddleboard and was like doing yoga on a paddleboard, like doing a bunch of shit like boating wise, and like yeah, that was a pretty good case. I had like the client like personally email me and be like, "Thank you, like you did a good job on this." And then
Yeah, it
another
doesn't
guy,
sound like if you were experiencing dizziness that you would go and do yoga on a paddle board.
yeah. This, I mean, she seemed kind of chill. I felt kind of bad because like she like went to the beach and was like playing like a flute afterwards. Like I was like, she seems kind of chill, but yeah, she was like definitely like committing fraud. But this other case I worked today actually, this guy also is like supposed to be completely like unable to work, but he's like working under the table as a mover. So he's like, you know, carrying like dressers and cabinets and all this shit, and he's like not supposed to be working at all because of his injury. So it's like another pretty clear example of like fraud that I've got.
But is he being paid well to not do that, or is he doing this out of desperation because he needs the money or something?
You know, I'm not sure. Like they don't tell us like the settlement amounts. You know, like but
They just want
yeah,
to know if there's any fraud at all.
yeah. But
But
I
I
just
assume like if they're getting you to do it, then it's like a worthwhile amount to hire a private investigator for, right? Or I don't
yeah,
know though, because sometimes these fucking firms and clients and whoever is suing who or whatever the fuck probably just have a shitload of money and like to fuck with people as well. So
yeah. I mean, I could see it, but I'd say like probably about 75 to 80% of the people that I follow, like I don't think are like as injured as they are claiming to be. Because like, in order for it to like get to me, it has to be like reviewed by like other people before, where they're like, you know, this kind of fraud is like super played out. You know, like people that are like SIUs, they like know what to look for. You know what I mean? If someone
what's
has
an
like
SIU?
a special investigative unit,
Okay.
so yeah, those are like the people that I believe. I could be wrong here because this is like more of the back end stuff, and I just do like the field work. But yeah, from my understanding is like they like review like claims, you know, and are like this one's suspicious. Let's like send a PI to that one, you know. So it's like yeah. So most of the time when they're sending me, like they already have like pretty good reason to be suspicious. You know, like if someone has like 10 different workers' comp claims with different companies, you know, that's like a pretty obvious red flag. Like financial distress is another thing too that they look for, like people who might be like motivated to commit fraud because of like financial reasons, like you pointed out, you know, things like that.
Those
Yeah.
people, I feel like we should be a little more lenient on and maybe not send private investigators to their houses, though. You know, if someone's in financial distress. I mean, stealing's always wrong too, but like at the same time, it's like I've never like committed insurance fraud or anything, but I've thought about it. I've been like, and I haven't thought about it in a long time, but it's something that I thought about when I was like 18. I was like, wait, like when I first found out about how insurance works, it's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
first idea that popped into my brain was some mob shit. I was like, oh, I could do this and then I could just burn it. And then
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's the first thing everyone thinks of when they first discover insurance and like its concept and like what it is that it does. And you're like, wait, you're saying I could just like destroy my own shit and technically I could get a
yeah,
big payment?
yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I like withhold judgment. I try to withhold judgment from people, you know, like I definitely like sometimes feel kind of bad like if I'm fucking up someone's like income, you know, like I don't feel good about that. But yeah, if they are being truthful though, then like me following them actually helps their case, you know, because like I worked a case like last week that I've worked it like the previous year. The guy's like obviously injured. He's a walker like everywhere. You know what I mean? I never saw him not use the walker. So like I just filmed that and like tell my boss, I'm like, yeah, he's like using his walker. He seems pretty injured, you know. And I definitely agree that like people that you know get hurt like doing construction, things like that, like yeah, like they deserve to be compensated, and you know, so
yeah, that is a good point, that if they're actually telling the truth and being honest, that they should be compensated, and that you following them proves that they are. And still a little bit of a intrusion of privacy, but yeah, it's the law. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a job. If you're not going to do it, somebody else will do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I usually like it doesn't really affect people because they don't know that I'm even there, you know, and like yeah, people that like know I'm there are usually the ones that are like, you know, talking to attorneys, and they're the ones like committing fraud. And like to those people, I'm just like, yeah, like you have to look over your shoulder for like fucking, as long as you're going to do this type of shit, you should be like looking out for PIs because you know you're lying. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
So what would be like, and I know you're not supposed to probably give this advice, but you're also probably not supposed to talk about a lot of this shit. What would your advice be to somebody who is committing fraud, and for them to get away with it? Like, what are the things that they should look out for to get away with it?
Oh, like if like to look out for PIs?
Yeah, so let's say I like hurt myself or whatever, and I have insurance for, I actually do have insurance for being I can't remember what kind of insurance. There's an insurance that you get when you tour, and if someone gets hurt at your show or whatever, it's covered.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say for some fucking reason I figured out a loophole to like get some money out of my insurance for that or something like that. What are the signs that I should be looking out for to try and like not get caught by a PI?
Okay. This is kind of a fun question. I would definitely say don't like break your restrictions outside of your house. For one, like if you say you can't like lift 10 pounds, like, you know,
definitely don't do that outside the house.
Yeah, don't do that outside the house. Like,
so if I did do that inside the house, like let's say I went to my front window and I was just doing a workout, like with 50-pound dumbbells, like at my front window, you know, like, and you could see in and you could video it. Is that evidence even usable in court or not, because it's an intrusion of privacy or it's an obstruction of justice or something like that?
Yeah, it's not. Like, I couldn't film that or use it. I would tell my boss, and they'd probably order more surveillance because they'd be like, oh, like, yeah, like this guy's definitely...
So you can use that information to some degree. It's not like you just can't be like, oh, didn't see that.
Yeah, like, I didn't see anything. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would be like, yeah, we're going to get this guy, we have to wait for him to do something outside his house, you know? But there's other things too, like to tell if people are tailing you, just like do weird shit while driving, like pull over on the side of the road for a second, like leave your neighborhood, loop back around. Like that fucks with investigators, things like that. Look out for, you know, seeing the same vehicles, like vans especially, you know. I hate to be just giving away this sauce like this, but I hope that people listening definitely...
I'm sure like no one listening to this is committing fraud is the thing. I get, so each episode of this gets like a maximum of like 5,000 listens, and most of the people are just musicians like us. You know, they just make beats and shit. So I highly doubt that anyone listening is like in the middle of committing some sort of insurance fraud, but who the fuck knows? You know, maybe there is, I don't know.
Yeah, the main advice would be like, don't do it, because like they're tenacious. Like when it's like big settlement amounts, like they won't just like do it one time. Like I've worked same cases for like years, you know what I mean? And like if you realize it's a van, they'll send like rental people in rental cars. Like they don't just like give up easily, I would say.
And like what is like the smallest amount of, I know you don't really know settlement amounts, but if you had to assume, what is the smallest amount of money that someone would be compensated for somebody like you to be sent out to check that they weren't doing anything sus?
This is just fully like a guess, because I know my company charges like $800 a day, so it'd have to be at least like $5,000, I'd imagine, to be like worth ordering multiple days. You know, sometimes they'll do just a day to see the activity level, But like even then, I couldn't imagine they'd spend $800, to have like an investigator there for like,
Even $5,000. It's like usually these
yeah,
settlements are coming from like pretty large companies, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm imagining they just pay that or settle with them. That's probably what happens most of the time is they like settle. But yeah, I'd imagine it's a large amount. Like I've questioned this a lot too, because like, workers' compensation is like only what, like 70% of your income. Like I don't understand how like it's like financially like worth it. You know what I mean?
Wait, 70% of your income, like for the amount of time you're off. So let's say you're off for like 6 months and you earn like 100,000 a year, you would just get like 70, like 35,000 basically.
Wouldn't it be 70 grand, 70% of your income?
Well, you only took 6 months off and you earn
Oh
100,000
yeah,
a year.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was so okay. So if you earn 70,000 a year, you take 1 year off. Sorry, you earn 100,000 a year, you take a year off. You would be paid 70,000 for that year to take that year off.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's what I think workers' comp is. But like the people I'm tailing usually aren't making like 100 grand. Like they're people like I guess some people I tail a lot of what is it, truck drivers. People drive semi trucks,
They
get in
get paid pretty
accidents.
well, right?
Yeah, I think they do. I'm pretty sure they make like over 100 grand. Like, yeah, I think so.
That
But yeah,
job honestly seems like not like super chill, but it's something I considered doing when I was younger. So when I first got my license, I was like, man, driving's not that bad. And I actually delivered pizzas for a while because I could just like chill in my car and listen to music and shit. And I didn't mind it at all.
yeah.
And I considered becoming a truck driver for a while and then somehow just fell into this stupid ass job.
No, dude, you have the sickest job ever, man. I was like wondering that. Like I had a question. Like I'd like thought about it. I was like, did you always know you're gonna be like an electronic artist? Because I feel like when you were kind of coming up, it was like even more of like a rare thing, to like make it in this industry.
Yeah, so I was always into music. Like I was playing a lot of guitar and stuff when I was a teenager. And then my parents got GarageBand on one of those old iMacs. And I was just like playing my guitar into the iMac and just like layering it and shit like that. And I just got like kind of interested in that sort of technology. I was like, this is fun, like just being able to layer shit and cut shit up in any way. This is cool. And then so I went to do this thing at a course in Australia. We have like two sorts of universities. We have like actual university, and then we have this sort of like, I guess it would be similar to community college. Maybe it's called TAFE. I don't know what it stands for, but TAFE is what it's called, and I think it's an acronym for something. And you can go there and do like sort of more basic courses that are cheaper. So I went there and did some course where they taught like digital performer, which is Motu's DAW and some other shit, and I learned some stuff there, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And took a bunch of years off after that, and then got into psytrance and started going to psytrance parties a lot, which in Australia are called doofs. And then my buddy Frosty showed me Ableton, who was the one who got me into psytrance. And then I was like, I want to learn how to make psytrance. Like basically the same experience that you had with techno. I just had it with psytrance. And I was like, I want to learn how to make this. So I like got super into it, started like hanging out with a bunch of people who went to those parties who were producing it, and then like got into it that way. Started playing like some of these doofs and some of these like psytrance parties in Sydney. And then I was like, all right, I want to get like really serious about this. So I went to college and got an audio engineering degree at SAE in Sydney. And through that time is when I started my website. It's when I released my first couple of albums. It's when I like started putting videos on YouTube. Like I did all of that through college basically. And then by the time I hit the end of college, I was sort of just doing it and like started getting bookings in other places. And yeah, it kind of all just like fell into place after college, because I was just doing that shit like all day, every day. It's like all I was thinking about because I was at college doing it. So when I got home, the thing that I wanted to do was the thing that I had to do for college anyway. So I don't know. Yeah, it just all sort of worked out, which was cool. So the truck driver thing never happened. Now, like, it was just a thing that I thought about for a minute because I was like, driving a truck, it didn't seem like it'd be too bad. But now these days, I would fucking hate it. Like these days, I drive for like 2 hours and I get tired and I'm like, I want to pull over and have a nap. Like driving just tires me out these days for some reason.
Yeah, I feel that. It's like hypnotizing when you're driving, but
Yeah, exactly. It's fun for like 30 minutes or like 40 minutes. And then like once you hit highways and there's no turning or anything, it's just like sit there and look at a road.
yeah,
I get tired like instantly.
Same, man. I'm always like on my way home, especially from work. I'm like getting energy drinks at like 4 p.m. because I'm like falling asleep on the drive home. Yeah, I totally feel that. But that's like seems like a perfect situation. Just kind of fell into place, for you and like this career that you're in right now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
mean, I
definitely
kind of
dope.
had the mindset too while I was doing it that like this is what I'm going to do. Like I was investing like 40 grand to go to university. So I was like, there's no way I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do something related to this. And like whether that's mixing or mastering or sound design for films or games or whatever, like or education, like I have been doing, like it was going to be something.
Hmm.
So I was just thinking about it a lot during university. Like, how can I make money doing this? What do people need? What can I do? All this stuff. So basically, I was just like learning shit at like the first tutorial I ever did that I put on YouTube was how to work out delay times in milliseconds based on knowing the BPM, where you just take the BPM times it by 60 and divide it by, I can't even remember the formula, but I learned that formula at university and I was like, that's interesting. Went home and like instantly applied it to Ableton delay and made a tutorial about it. And I was like, this is how you do this. And people were like, whoa, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know about that formula. And I was like, neither did I until earlier today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like kind of started making those, like just learning shit at school and then taking it home and just telling people about it on the internet, which was
Yeah.
kind of interesting that I was like taking the nuggets out of this like $40,000 course and then just like going and putting them on YouTube,
That's
which I don't
sick.
know like what the law is on that. I'm sure it's like open at this point. You could have learned that information anywhere really, so I don't think it really matters. But yeah, that's how I got into it anyway.
Yeah.
So like your general day, do you work every day or just Monday to Friday or what's?
I usually get my schedule like, it could be like the day before, as long as they tell me like by 6 p.m. So like they could tell me by 6 that I'm working tomorrow. So the schedule is kind of like unpredictable. I usually have like Mondays and Tuesdays off and like yeah, I pretty much work like every weekend and then I get like 4 days a month that I get to like pick off. Like just like oh, like they're called like golden days or whatever. It's kind of cool for like shows. So if I get a booking, I can like play the show and then yeah, so
So you told me you got off work today like a couple hours ago. So you got off work at 10 a.m., right?
yeah, I started at
So
like 5:30.
oh shit. And is that like pretty normal to work like those hours because that's when people are like least expecting it or something?
Yeah, this guy's like a mover and he like his schedule's kind of unique. Like he leaves work like like at 6. So like you need to start by like 5:30 to catch him leaving.
Hmm.
Standard time is like 6:30 to 2:30 on weekdays and then 7 to 3 on weekends. If you like start after that, you run the risk of them like leaving, you know.
That makes sense. And then you don't know where they went.
Yeah, exactly, and you're
So
fucked.
you had to like follow this guy to work and stuff then?
Yeah, I did. Today didn't really go so well. I like lost him. So like it
How
was
did
a
you
two
lose
man.
him?
Dude, he's hard to tail. Like he leaves and he leaves at like 6 and he gets in like a different car each time. He's
Hmm.
like carpooling and then it's like rush hour traffic and he gets on the freeway and he doesn't just like drive a short distance. He drives like an hour and a half to different places. Like we don't know where he goes. Like we got him all the way to like 2 houses like last week. But yeah, today we lost him like on like a freeway. He like got off the freeway and then like just immediately got back on going the opposite direction. We kind of think he might be a little suspicious because he's did some sus shit last time
Or
too.
maybe he
Like
just missed a turn. Maybe he missed his
yeah,
exit.
yeah, exactly. But it was like last time too. He kind of did some sus shit. Like he pulled over on the side of the road one time and then like a few minutes later stopped on like a residential road for like a minute or two and then just like took off again. Like he's either suspicious of us or he was like lost and like he was
Yeah,
kind of
maybe he just
acting.
gets lost all the time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely times where I get paranoid. I'm like, I tell my boss, I'm like, oh, this guy's suspicious. And then like later look at the film, like, oh, maybe he's not suspicious. But yeah,
So like you said, sus is just a state of mind.
yeah, it is just a state of mind. Exactly. It's like I
You
say the
just
same thing
gotta.
about glitch, dude. Like glitching stuff is a state of mind. Like
What do you
anything
mean
can
by
be
that?
broken. Just like anything could be broken. Like I feel like to glitch shit out in like Ableton, you can just literally do anything. You can just like intentionally try to break stuff, like turn the utility thing on and off like a bunch of times just with automation, and it'll make some weird shit. It's like
Yeah, I think glitch music specifically is about breaking things like that, but then trying to have them represented in some sort of musical idea that can make sense to somebody who doesn't know the genre already, or if you're really trying to flex, try and make it even challenging for the people who have been listening to the genre for a long time, and try and make it fresh and new in some way that they haven't heard it being done before, which like somebody like G Jones is really amazing at.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, I just like I had a friend a while ago ask me about like how to do glitchy shit, and I was like, anything could be glitched. You just
Yeah,
have to like,
literally, whatever.
yeah, yeah, try to break
turn,
it.
turn your buffer size down to 64 or 32 and just load in 100 serums.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
It'll
what's super
glitch
cool
out
about.
real quick.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's what I love about the style is like it's super like open to that kind of like creativity, you know. It's just fun to make too. Like, yeah.
Well, these days, it's like they've removed a bit of the creativity from it because now there's just plugins that will do that. Like there's plugins that you can get that will emulate what it sounds like to reduce your bitrate to 32, or sorry, your buffer size to 32, and like hit it with 100% CPU spikes.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day when I first started, you had to manually do that shit. Like you had to just like go like, all right, how am I going to fuck this sound up? And then you'd have to set your buffer to like something crazy and then overload Ableton intentionally to the point of where it's struggling, and then record that output and then re-import it and stuff. These days, it's like it's just shit that does that for you.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the old days were better, you know. No, I'm just kidding. But
It's
yeah, I
more
think
convenient now, but like with the convenience, yeah, comes this like loss of feeling of ownership, I guess. Because like when I had to figure that out back in the day and do it, I was like, oh man, that's so creative, that's so cool. I feel like I own this idea that I just like came up with, and like this sound is so unique to me now, and all of this shit. And now it's just like, oh, it's like a $30 plugin called Lossy by Gigahertz or whatever or Good Hertz or whatever the company is, or like this other
yeah.
plugin called Codec that just does that. Or
Oh yeah, yeah. Those ones
I
are
feel like
sick.
the sense of ownership that you feel when making music is like one of the things that makes it feel the coolest to do. When you're like, oh, I just made that and I feel accomplished. Like that's the whole reason you make music. The whole reason I make music is to like feel fulfilled in that way. Well, obviously other reasons too. Like now it's my job, so I have to do it for other reasons as well. But a big reason is so I feel fulfilled, and I'm like, yeah, I feel really good about this thing I just made. And having tools that make it way easier, make it way harder to get that feeling. Because even if you do it the hard way, you're like, I could have just done it with a plugin, and like kind of
Yeah.
removes a bunch of that sort of feeling, I think.
Yeah, yeah, because your like logical mind is like, why am I like spending so much time like making a snare, you know, when I could just use like Dance Diffusion and generate them? But then like, there's like a part of you that's like, you know, I like my snares. I want to do it the old-fashioned way. At least that's how I feel like. Yeah, I feel like AI is definitely making it like adding to that same like, you know, adding that same kind of issue of like ownership. Like I kind of thought when I got Dance Diffusion, I just like, you know, I wasn't sure how much I'd use it, you know, and I feel like I'm definitely using it, but then I'm still spending a ton of time just doing mud pies still, like just because that's like enjoyable, you know, and I feel more like ownership, like you said, over the sounds, you know?
Yeah, totally. You feel like it's more unique and there's more of you in it or something, when really it's probably the exact same amount. Like from somebody who listens to it
Yeah.
from their perspective, they're like, oh, it both sounds like a Merrickk sound, whatever.
Yeah. It's just like some
But
sound like that. Like,
I think though that because of that, like because that ownership has been removed, and because these things are so much easier to do, to gain the ownership, you have to figure out how to do it in different ways now. Like for me now, it's writing. Like the only thing that's left is writing. Like how good a melody I can come up with, how good of a structure I can come up with, like how good I can make this sound that Dance Diffusion just created sit in a musical context, and how interesting can I make that sound, like sound, and can I make that sound shine harder than it did when it was just sitting by itself, and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like soon that's going to be gone too, and then it's going to be, well, what can I do with music as a whole when I couple it with professional video work and professional programming and professional whatever the fuck, because now I'm a professional at everything because I have AI to just like make me a professional programmer and a professional video editor and a professional 3D modeling artist and a professional fucking whatever, professional
yeah.
touch designer programmer, like all this shit. All of a sudden everyone's going to be like essentially a professional at all of them. So then it's going to be like, what kind of combination of all of those things can you compile down into some sort of artistic or interesting experience that, you know, one will find interesting.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I feel like it's pretty cool, honestly. The visual stuff is pretty exciting. Like Midjourney is like doing amazing things, and like I feel like artists having more control over like their brands, and like also artists like, maybe if like baking their own plugins, because like I could see there being people who are like producer Nasco. Like I think you've talked
Mm.
about him before. That dude's crazy. Like I'm sure if he could like, he might already program, I don't know, but like, he's like a professional programmer, he'd probably be making the most insane plugins, like, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And also with music, there's a lot of people that have like really good taste, but don't really know how to use the programs or anything like that. And I feel like those kind of people may end up, being like them people being enabled to make music who technically otherwise maybe wouldn't have been able to, might enable some sort of Rick Rubin types, where like Rick Rubin, for instance, he just sits in the studio with bands. He doesn't know how to use a mixing desk. He doesn't know what an EQ does. He doesn't know like what a chord is. He doesn't know what a scale is. Like he doesn't know, like, this is his own words. He doesn't know any of that shit. He just sits in there and goes like, oh, that sounds good. That doesn't sound good. That sounds correct. I think you should do more of this, less of that, like that kind of shit. And like pretty soon he's not going to need the band or the engineer, like once AI gets to a point where Rick Rubin can just be like, I want more of that, less of this, do that more, do that less. He can just produce the music that he's like been producing for years with bands without the band there. And there's going to be a lot of people, I think, like that. There probably is a lot of people like Rick Rubin out there who have this incredible taste in music and who know what makes a hit and what doesn't, but just have no idea how to use Ableton or no idea how to use a synthesizer. And I feel like the accessibility for those kind of people is going to be interesting too.
yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's like I sometimes have thought like I'm so glad I'm alive right now where I can make music with computers, because like if I would have been born hundreds of years ago and I had to like use drums and like a guitar, like I just wouldn't have been motivated to like make music, like I play guitar, but like I definitely would not be like writing songs every day, you know what I mean? So like yeah, it's definitely gonna like raise the tide again, with like more people having that ability to like, yeah, just be creative and stuff. I think it's like super cool.
Yeah, or even just like, 20 years ago when electronic music to be made required like a pile of gear and, a bunch of knowledge that was really hard to come by and stuff like that. It's like for the people arguing against AI, it's like, do you think electronic music was better then when you needed thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear and crazy amounts of education that wasn't easy to get or easy to find anywhere and all of this shit? Or do you think it's better now where you can just go and download Ableton from Pirate Bay, go or get their 90-day free trial off their website and then go to YouTube and Google Ableton beginner tutorial and just make shit? Like, I think it's better today. And I think that like with AI, you're going to see sort of more of that progression. And with it will come some concessions, of course, like people making, say, like little jingles for ads or something like that. Like, sure, some of those are going to just get like created by AI and, some people are going to lose some jobs in the process. But I think it's going to be a net positive. At least I hope it is. I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to look at it positively, because if I don't,
Yeah.
then I'll just be like, oh, fuck everything. I hate it. Like,
Yeah.
so I
There's
think
no.
it'll be a net positive thing personally.
Yeah, I feel like it could like, I don't. It might be like I could see it being like we have to like to redefine what like we value as people. Like maybe like I feel like it's kind of like scarcity mindset to be like, oh, like people have to be like working jobs. Like maybe like the robots taking the jobs will be like free us to do like other things. Like focus on like relationships and socializing and like doing the part of the creative stuff that we really enjoy for like the purpose of enjoyment, you know what I mean? Like but yeah, I could like the yeah, I agree, like to have the defeatist mindset of like, oh, like we're all just going to like everyone's going to lose their jobs and then everyone's just going to like just be suffering, I feel like that's hopefully not what's going to be the end result of it, and I don't really see it like going that way, cuz like it seems pretty cool. Like everything that's come out now has been really sick.
I wonder if people had this same mindset during like other revolutions, like for instance, the agricultural one, where all of a sudden you didn't have to farm your own food, or you didn't have to live like near a farmer who farmed food so you could go get it. It's like factories will just do all of this, and you just go to a place and exchange it for money, and you can do whatever you want with the rest of your life, so long as you're making money to go exchange it for food at the local place that has it. I wonder if people at that time were like, but what am I going to, like, you're going to take away farming from me? Like, what am I going to do if I can't farm? Like, what am I going to spend my days doing? I've spent my days farming forever. And now these days, like, thinking about it, having grown up in the society we live in, if you told someone the opposite, like, we're going to remove agriculture and you have to go back to farming, and you have to spend your whole day farming because otherwise you won't have any food, and everyone has to do this for themselves, or you have to live near somebody who does a big farm or whatever, and then you can get food from them by trading or whatever. I think most people would say, fuck that. Like, I don't want to go back to that situation. That sounds horrible. And I feel like in maybe 100 years, we might look back at this AI shit and loss of jobs in a similar way, where we're like, do I want to go back to doing all this shit that's just automated for us? Or would I prefer to be in this time where a lot of that is taken care of, and now I can concentrate my days on like some other thing? It will like redefine the human experience and what it is to live day to day, just like other things prior have as well. I also wonder if with AI, if it's just going to like continuously keep getting better and better and better until it's just insane, or if we're just on the exponential part of the curve right now. You know, like with, say, cars, like when the car got developed, you would be like, oh man, in like 100 years, these things are going to fly and they're going to do all sorts of crazy shit. They'll probably have wings on them. They'll probably like you curl up into a little ball and like, you know, or a square, and you can like you press a button and they transform out into the car and then you can drive it. But no, they didn't do that. They like got to a certain point and then we just stopped developing them because they took care of the problem that they were trying to solve. And while they get a little bit better and we still upgrade them and do things to them, they're not getting like much better. You know, there was an exponential part of the curve where cars got like insanely good over a short period of time. And then they kind of like, you know, topped out, and like now then there's not that much of like that technological growth with them anymore. And I feel like maybe AI will be the same, where we're like maybe just on that exponential part of the curve, and then it will just get to a point where we're like, all right, it's doing the job that we need it to do. No need to really like have it grow too much more than this. But there's a lot of AI like theorists and shit who are like, oh, it's different to all of that because it can like learn itself. We've taught it how to program. We've taught it about humans. We've let it connect to the internet. Like there's a lot of like risks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We won't know, I guess, for a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely hope it like turns out like positively. Like I know Sam Harris like is pretty adamant. He's pretty like worried about it, right? Like
he worries about literally everything.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. He's kind of
I think he's
a
like
philosopher, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think with a lot of shit, he goes like a bit too extreme. He's like, this is the worst possible thing that has ever happened to society, and if you don't think that, then you have lost your mind and you're on the far left. It's like,
Yeah, true. I feel like philosophers kind of have to do that. Like they have to like, you know, pick a hill and then die on the hill and like follow a train of thinking like all the way to the end, like rigorously, like, you know what I mean? Like in reality, like I feel like, and that's why it's interesting to do that, like to like pick a way of thinking and to follow it like completely. But then I feel like in reality, things are not like, or things are more like fluid, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, to what you were saying about like it evolving to a point. Yeah, I definitely like, I could see that. And like, I hear a lot of like lofty ideas about it, like it's like curing diseases and like solving crimes and things like that. And just like, yeah, I haven't like seen it like really do anything like on that scale yet. Not to say that it won't, you know, but just like I'd like to see it do some stuff like that, like before we start like worrying about it like ending humanity or anything like that, you know. Like I still feel like I mean, the fact that it can hallucinate is really interesting because that like kind of shows me that like it's capable of like coming up with its own ideas, even if they're like not right, you know? But yeah, it is like, yeah, I'd say it's like different than like a car because yeah, it can like learn, but I don't know, even with music, I feel like it's not like creating anything like new yet. And like ChatGPT is like, it's just giving you information that like humans have found, you know what I mean? And then when it's not, it's usually wrong, you know? So like,
yeah, that's true. It is very much like based on just the stuff that it's been taught, which is the exact same as humans, right? It's like we are is like a compiler of everything that we've ever had put into our brains and decided to remember and pass into whatever idea or whatever ideology that we want. And then out the other end comes who we are. Somebody who makes music versus somebody who wants to go join the military or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like AI is very similar. It's like you put a bunch of information in, but the difference is you put in all the information in the world, and then out the other end comes this like super intelligence where you can be like, tell me about anything, and it's just a way better learner than any human ever has been, basically.
Yeah, because it's like a calculator. Like a calculator is just so much better at math than like we are. It's kind of like that, but for like everything. But yeah, I feel like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if like for that reason it just tops out basically at whatever we can give it. Like, is that the outer limits of it, or can it possibly generate actually new stuff? Because you're right. ChatGPT cannot, and neither can Midjourney. Neither can Dance Diffusion.
I bet if you could like teach it the scientific method and like, be like, this is like are the human's best method of like learning new things and verifying if these things are accurate.
But it has those. Because that is written down somewhere on the internet, and it's been probably fed some of that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It definitely has that already, but I feel like it like when it hallucinates and it's like totally wrong, like it's definitely not using like that like method or like logical reasoning. It's just like giving you an answer like it thinks that it might be sufficient, But I don't know. Because like I feel like for information to have value, it has to like, be grounded in like reality and have like utility, and if it could just like lie to you, like it's not super useful, and I don't feel like that's like intelligent. But like, yeah, I feel like it could get there because it has these things like the scientific method, and it has like can study logic, and it can run like millions of tests probably, that it would take humans forever to do in just like an instant. So
yeah, it's definitely going to have some interesting applications and potentially will fall short in others. But regardless, currently it's already an extremely useful tool I've found for learning new stuff, like just by asking ChatGPT, or if I want like a shitload of different sounds, I can just feed a folder of them to Dance Diffusion and be like, give me a bunch more of these. But you're right, it doesn't give you anything new. It gives you combinations of the things that you fed it. Do you know how Dance Diffusion works by chance?
A tiny bit, like by like reducing things to noise, right? And like rebuilding it and like something like that.
So it's totally wrong. It's actually a fork of Stable Diffusion, and it works the exact same way. It actually in the background just makes an image of the spectrogram that you fed it, and then it converts that spectrogram image to audio.
Okay, so like,
it's literally just Stable Diffusion, but instead of doing it, it doesn't do it with the audio, it still does it with the images, and then that image in the background. So like you say you feed it 100 kicks, it takes all those 100 kicks and it converts them all to an image and goes like, this is what this kick looks like on a spectrogram, this is what this kick looks like on a spectrogram, and so on and so forth. And then it takes all those images and then just creates a new image that looks similar to all of those ones, the exact same way that Stable Diffusion does with an image. And then it takes that image and puts it through an image to audio synthesizer.
Damn, that's brilliant, and honestly, like, impressive that it works so well, because like for something like basses, I feel like the waveforms just look so...
Well, it's not the waveform, it's the spectrogram. So basically it's a square. From left to right is time, and from bottom to top is frequency. So like, let's say you had just a 1K tone, the whole thing would be like gray, and then you would just have this like opaque line, or this like filled line going across the 1K range, and then that, if converted back to audio from that image, would just give you a 1K sine tone for however many seconds. Like 3, I think, is the limit for Dance Diffusion, and I think that 3-second limit probably comes from the amount of pixels that the image can be, which I think is like 512 by 512 or 1024 by 1024 or whatever it is.
Damn, that's crazy. That's like so brilliant. Whoever thought of that, like yeah, like fuck trying to like build the audio.
My buddy Zach thought of it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I know this guy. He's a fucking genius.
Yeah, that's some galaxy brain move right there, like just being like, let's look at the spectrogram and then like reverse engineer it basically. Yeah, that's super sick. And I feel like I'm like surprised it works so well, you know, because I feel like I mean, I obviously don't have like the capabilities of analyzing things like as good as a computer does, but like, you know, kicks can look pretty similar and then sound quite different to me. Like, but I also don't use like spectrograms like a whole lot. I just use like span and like size scope. You know, those are kind of like the things I'm using for like metering and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of good information from those. You definitely get a lot more information from one of those XY spectrographs where you can see like the color and stuff like that.
Do you use those a lot? Like, do you have one like when you're producing, like just watching shit or?
Yeah, I use the spectrogram or spectrograph, whatever it's called, from Vision 4X, and then I use span as well. And then I use minimeters for the waveform readout, so I can just basically see what the rendered wave will look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also use Swiss Army meter for LUFS, and then I use that's like the main ones that I use. Yeah, those ones.
Yeah, that's
So
solid.
basically, that allows me to see like if there's any difference on the left and right in the waveform readout. Also, the waveform readout is different colors based on the frequency. It's like more blue if there's less sub, and then it's more red if there's a lot of sub. So it kind of gives you some frequency information too. Span is for more specific, like balance stuff, like making sure the overall curve of the track looks all right, making sure my sub is peaking at the right spot, and all of that stuff. Obviously, Swiss Army meter is for loudness, like just making sure it's around the right volume, because that where that sub is peaking means nothing until you've got it to the level that you want your mix to be. So I get my mix level to about like -5 LUFS, and then try and make sure that my sub is peaking at around wherever it's supposed to peak at around that amount of LUFS, so like -4 or something. And then yeah, the Vision 4X one, like the spectrograph, that's more for like finding issues. Like if there's a kick and then I can see this like giant red tail or something like hanging off the bottom of it, then I know that there's something wrong with it. Like there's a bunch of extra sub there or something. Or like if there's a click, like a bad click, you'll just see this giant line that just runs like up and down the whole thing.
Nice.
So stuff like that I kind of use it for. Like if I'm seeing something crazy like that, I'll be like, what the hell is that? And then I'll like inspect the whole lot and try and find where that issue is coming from.
Yeah, that's good to know. I should look into like adding a spectrograph to it, because I have like I do mostly similar things, but haven't really like used the spectrograph specifically. But
Do you have mini meters?
No, I don't. I use like Span SciScope Pro, I think is what it's called. That one's pretty sick. It's for like waveform.
Yeah,
shows,
yeah.
like, the waveform.
You should get mini meters. It does all of them. It does the what is it? Here, I got it open right now. It does it literally is just like a tiny bar that sits at the top of your screen, and it does spectrogram, spectrometer, spectrum, waveform, oscilloscope, and peak and LUFS. So it does everything.
Oh damn, that's sick.
And it's all in some like tiny bar that just runs across the top of your screen.
Yeah, that's dope. I'll definitely check it out. Like, yeah, I feel like metering is super important. Like while you're like working on tunes, it was like I just like seeing like different sounds I make, like what they look like in different metering ways. You know, I feel like it's a good way just kind of expand your knowledge on like what you like about sounds and what you don't like about sounds. You know. And make sense again.
I agree with you. I think that like a lot of people say like don't use meters, just use your eyes. But like the reality is us as humans are way more perceptive with our eyes than our ears. Like our ability to see a problem versus hear a problem is like 80% like better like than it is with your ears. You know, like there's tons of shit that I can see with no problem, like a huge subtail or like a click or something, that I'll see instantly and be like, oh, that's that, and like I'll fix that. But like I will be working on a mix for hours and not hear that shit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, some of the shit we just can't hear is just too high or too low, and you just look at it in like an EQ even, and just like, just see the issues.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, speaking of making music, I'm going to get back to doing that. But yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast, dude. It was really nice to chat to you, and yeah, super interesting. I'm sure a bunch of people will find this chat interesting as well. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
and,
hell yeah. Thank you too.
For those listening, go to belegalbeats.bandcamp.com and check out Merrick's EP called Download Consciousness on Belegal Beats, which is a label that I've been running for a few years now, if you haven't heard of it already, that has a bunch of IDM and glitch music on it, because I felt like there was no good labels doing that. So,
hell yeah. Appreciate it, Bill.
All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care.